Have you ever encountered a gap in your life that you can't seem to close? It might be personal or work related. In today's Doodle to Marketing, I'm going to show you 3-step process that successful people use in closing gaps. So let's get started. Every day we're faced with gap, and it could be a gap in our business, and it could be a gap in our relationships, and it could be just a physical gap. And everything that we do is an opportunity to close the gap between where we are and where we want to be. Some gaps are easier to close than the other because we've done it 1,000 times and it has become a habit, such as brushing our teeth, driving our car, or do our jobs. So we call them the habit. But some gap could require more effort to close because we have to draw on our past experience to close it, such as dealing with a new project at work or asking someone out for a date because we don't do them as often. So we call them the experience, right? We have to draw on our experience. And there are gaps that we just have absolutely no idea how to close because we've never done it before. Okay, so if you've never done it before, you don't have the experience. These are the gaps that can be most frustrating because it feels like we are stuck. So let's just call them, it's a new gap. But we know if we could close the gap, we'll be one step closer to our goals. So the 3-step process that successful individuals use to close the gap is number 1, knowing where you are. Number 2 is knowing where you want to be. And number 3 is close the gap. And close the gap, I'm going to show you the 4 pillars that I use to close the gap. Okay, so step 1 is where are you right now? The first step is to know where you are right now. That means being honest with yourself about your current situation. You have to take a good hard look at where you are and what's going on in this particular situation. Think about what do you really want and list all the pain points that are associated if you stay where you are right now. So let's take a look at if you want a new job, what are the pain that are associated if you stay where you are right now? Or if you want to get into a new relationship, what would be the pain point that if you don't move forwards? If you want a new marketing strategy, what would happen if you don't do anything with it? Okay, so I want you to spend a few minutes looking at this situation, be honest with yourself, and start listing down all the pain points that are related to your current situation. So step number 2 is know where do you want to be, right? That means having a clear visions to know where you want to be and what the ideal situation look like. And you need to be very specific in terms of what you want for you in order for you to close the gap, okay? And list all the benefits you will get if you get to close that gap. So get emotional, get engaged, and feel that moment. So now I want you to list all the benefits if you have this job. Okay, what are the awesome benefits of having a job? Stability, more extra incomes, right? That sort of things. List all the benefit of being in a relationship, right? So you get someone to cuddle with, someone that you get to talk to. You don't have to talk. You get to go on a movie with someone else, go on a date. What are the key benefits, right? And then list all the benefit if you have a new marketing strategies. So start listing them down. Take a few moments to write them down. Okay, so now once you have written down where you are right now and where you want to be, I want you to think about why. Why are you so committed to close this gap? Why are you so close in closing this gap? Because if you don't have the right frame of mind, okay, if you don't have the right frame of mind, then it's going to be very difficult for you to get that motivation and to close the gap. Okay, So the third step is close the gap with capability. You need to have the capability, which is a combination of your skills, your knowledge, your experience, and attitude to close the gap. The first place is start looking at your skills. You need to be resourcefulness and develop a skill set that will help you to close the gap. If you don't have the skills, you need to go learn them. For example, if you want to narrow down your marketing communication gap in your organization so that your prospect will get your message, and you might need to improve your writing skill, your copywriting skill, your creative skills, or hire a marketing coach to help you to do that. And you need to decide if you want to spend time to save money or you want to spend money to save time. That's a very important thing if you're a small business owner. Some small business owners tend to fall into the trap of thinking they need to do everything themselves to save money. But there are some things that are just better left to the experts. Okay? And you can focus on what you're good at, which is serving your customers. So what are the 4 pillars to close the gaps? Number 1, we need to have a strong why. We need to have a strong why. Without a strong why, it will be very difficult for you to close the gap because you won't have the motivation to do whatever it takes. Number 2 is you need to have a clear strategy. Okay? The strategy will give you the how. Without a clear strategy, you'll be scattered and work on so many things that won't get you closer to your goals. The third thing is you need to have a tactics, right? You need to have tactics. The tactics is what supports your strategy. These are all the skills that you need for you to accomplish this. And the tactics can be moving all the time, where strategy may stay the same the entire time, okay? And the last thing is having an action plan. An action plan is almost like the to-do list. This is something that you follow on a daily basis. Okay, so those are the 4 main pillars the successful people use to close the gap. Okay, so next time when you're stuck, follow these 3 steps to close the gap and take 1 step closer to your goals. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. So please subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends or colleagues, and leave us a review. So thank you for watching. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you next time.